I think people of Kenya know me not as a coward. They know that I take what I believe in, and I take positions. I am saying here that every contract signed by the government of Kenya is a public document, and it should be available to the public.
The question of the SGR contract was raised even in the first term of your administration. It has never been made public. Mr. Deputy President, you don't have any record, any public record of you saying that these contracts should be made public. Why?
You see, as Deputy President, there is so much that you can do. In fact, my role, my oath of office, has 4 functions. Number 1, I swear allegiance to the people of Kenya and to the Republic, to discharge every responsibility given to me by the Constitution and the law. And number 3, to advise whenever required. That's the language of the Constitution. Whenever required, the President on matters that he requires advice. And number 4 is to serve people equally and fairly. So I have discharged that responsibility to the best of my ability. And I have made my position in regard to the contracts very well known to the right officers. It is not a matter I would have wanted to take it in public for purposes of making sure that government is functional.
All right, I have just one last question on this before we move to our next topic of discussion. Limited sort of powers of the Deputy President. Is that what you're saying in respect to making these contracts public? I can only do so much as a Deputy President.
Absolutely.
Okay. However, in previous television interviews, you have stated that you and the President remain accountable for everything that has been done for this. So which is it, Mr. Deputy President? Are you responsible for not making these contracts public, because you in the past have said that you and the President remain accountable and should be asked about everything that happens in this country?
Precisely, that's why you're asking me, and I have answered you. I have said clearly that to the extent that my duty as Deputy President is concerned, I have discharged my responsibility. I have given advice to my boss on many issues, including that particular issue. So I have given him my advice, enumerating very well that it is the constitutional position that every contract is made public. I have given that advice to the President as is required of me. So, but you know the buck stops with the boss.
Honorable Deputy President, let's now move to the next topic of our conversation this evening, and this will be on a matter of national security. You were recently in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, where you promised the people of Kerio Valley that you do everything in your power to secure them. You've also been visiting other parts of this country, Marsabit, Baringo, Samburu, Laikipia, West Pokot. More than 300 people have died in the last 7 months alone in this country, killed by armed bandits. Livelihoods are lost. Children have not gone to school. Children have been killed. Kerio Valley residents have even petitioned the UN Secretary General, saying that their government has failed to provide them with security. In your manifesto, you say that security is a cornerstone of protecting people's livelihoods. Why has the government of Kenya, in which you've served as an assistant minister, as a minister, as a deputy president, been unable to secure the people of these counties?
I quite agree with the feeling of many Kenyans. In fact, it's yesterday. It's not even last week. It's yesterday. I was in Elgeyo Marakwet, and one of the leaders there told us we have buried 114 people in that neighborhood. So it is indeed a live and serious matter. You have seen me in when we came into office in 2016. I called all the leaders from Pokot, Samburu, and we had a serious leaders meeting in my office in Karen. And because of that meeting, for about 3 years, we went round, we mobilized all the governors, and we provided National Police Reserve in all those areas. And the situation was under control. But when we came into the handshake arrangement, a full Elgeyo Marakwet in Baringo, in West Pokot, were actually a militia that William Ruto would use at some point. And all the National Police Reserve were withdrawn. A very reckless act. And with the withdrawal of the National Police Reserve, the situation went south. And that is why I was saying yesterday in Elgeyo Marakwet that we will do whatever it takes. And today, there is a program to build security outposts. And I'm saying, whatever it takes, even if it means bringing the military and military installations to support the police in some of these areas. In fact, you just reminded me, yesterday I overflew a huge tract of land where 3 years ago I was standing there. Yesterday, they haven't planted there for the last 3 years because of insecurity. So insecurity is not only causing our children not to be in school, it is causing starvation, it is causing death. Yet, people want to treat it casually.
But Honorable
let me tell you, let me just allow me.
In the last 3 years, Mr. Deputy President, you have not spoken out about the issue in Kerio Valley. You have not said anything about the killings that have been taking place. Like they told you, 150 people buried this year. You spoke about it only yesterday. Where have you been in the last 6 months?
I have always been there. In fact, if you go and ask those people in those regions, I have always been present. We have buried many of those people with our own money. We've taken many of those people to hospital with our own money. I have deployed my personal resources to deal with that situation because I know it was a political a political agenda. You know, the withdrawal of the National Police Reserve was really an unfortunate act. But because it was intended to punish William Ruto, you know, never mind that many people lost their lives, is a real tragedy. But that is the nature of our politics in Kenya.
Honorable Ruto,
unfortunately.
Honorable Ruto, you're saying that was done to punish you?
What other explanation would you have? You go withdraw security personnel in the whole of that whole region, you subject people to...
How would that punish you, Honorable Ruto?
Because I am the one who had led the whole, in fact, I am the one who had taken charge. In fact, I was there every 2 weeks in that region. I was there every 2 weeks. I am the one who mobilized the resources. I am the one who mobilized the security men, the identification of the National Police Service. And so it looked like it was
Honorable Ruto,
it was about me. It was never about me.
Did you mobilize those resources on a personal basis or as Deputy President?
As Deputy President.
So why would your government punish the Deputy President?
You live in Kenya, my good friends.
And I am failing to understand it, sir.
And you know...
Are you telling the people of Kerio Valley that 150 of them have been buried this year alone just because a government is punishing the Deputy President?
Not just that. The Kimwarer and the Aror dams were cancelled intentionally to punish my supporters. That's it.
We will come to that, sir. You, as the Deputy President, consume intelligence reports. Tell us, over the last 30 years, what is it that has led to this continuous cycle of violence in Kerio Valley, in Baringo, in Samburu, in West Pokot, even going as far as Marsabit County? What causes this, and what will you do, knowing the intelligence that you have?
The biggest contributor to the situation we have in those regions is competition for resources, competition for water, competition for pasture, general matters of education, and precisely the reason why we had a plan on Radat Dam to provide the water for the whole of that belt. Aror, Kimwarer, Lowat. These are dams that my thinking was, if we provide water in these areas, we can sufficiently roll out irrigation. For your information, that whole Kerio belt where people are fighting, it is a granary. We have the best mangoes from that region. We have very good soya that can be grown in that region. The only impediment is water, access to water. And there are enough rivers to be tapped. My solution to the whole of that region is twofold. Let us provide water for livestock. Let us provide water for irrigation. And let us get schools developed, as well as making sure that we provide road infrastructure. That's why we rolled out the road from Parbelo, cutting across that region, to come out on the other side in a place called Marich Pass, through Tot, through Chesongoch. And now there was also the road that was supposed to connect Kapedo from the other side of Turkana coming to Nakuru. Opening up that area is the solution. Opening up that area in terms of infrastructure and opening up that area in terms of water infrastructure will provide the solution. Unfortunately, there are people who don't see it that way.
So you say that the Aror Kimwarer Dam, you recently said that you are going to complete it should you be elected president.
Yes.
Why did it fail?
I will. Yes, I will. It didn't fail. It was meant to fail.
President, sorry, sir, to just interject. As a deputy president, and like I started by saying, you've been minister before, you've been an assistant minister, we are talking about violence that has been taking place for decades, not just in the term that you've been deputy president. So this is not about you being punished now, unless you're telling us that for a long time, there are people that have been scheming to punish William Ruto by killing the people of Kerio Valley.
That's not what I'm saying. I am saying we had a solution. We had close to 5,000 National Police Reserve. In fact, we have we'd even moved a step forward to provide armored vehicles to make sure that we can follow whoever these criminals are, right? We had a plan. Unfortunately, that plan was frustrated. And you know, the plan was, let's provide a National Police Reserve. Then, let us construct the roads. Then, let's provide water infrastructure.